What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jay McLovin with my co-host Celeste Marie Wilson on the Whiskey Hour podcast, coming to you today at 3. How are you doing, Miss Celeste?
I'm doing well. I'm awake in here, so I'm winning.
Amen, sister. And by the way, you can check out all of our content at the following locations. Also, if you look at the show description, our link tree is in there as well. But this is where you can reach us on all of our social platforms so you don't miss any content whatsoever. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't talk to you about Dubby energy drinks, the energy drink without the jitter. I will tell you, yesterday I was all jittered up on Monsters. And I know Celeste, who got in last night at 1 o'clock in the morning, is hyped up on energy drink. And I'll bet you at some point in this show, she will start to twitch. However, in a comma, had Celeste drunk some Dubby, she will not have that twitch, but she'd be bright-eyed and still bushy-tailed. And if you want to get it a little bit cheaper, just put that ESEN in the promo code, and we'll give you 10% off to make your life just a teensy bit better. Having said that, how you doing? Now, Celeste, I know you just got back from Nashville, and you went there for the Grand Ole Opry and a bunch of other things. I should tell you that for the Josie Awards at the Grand Ole Opry. Give me an idea, man. What was it like when you first got to Nashville? What did you think of music? Obviously, you've been to Nashville a few times. What did you think so far of the experience?
This was actually my first time ever in Nashville.
Oh, it was your first?
Yeah, all of my music stuff has been in Texas. I was of the attitude that I wasn't going to go to Nashville until I was invited there, kind of thing. I don't know why this was my decision, but I didn't want to feel... I mean, I love tourist things, but I was like, I didn't want to feel like a tourist there because I wanted it to be like my future career and my future home. So I wanted to be invited out there. So I was super excited when I was nominated for those 4 awards because I was like, finally, I've been nominated and I've been invited to go out there. So I must, because it's not polite. It's not polite to not go somewhere when you're invited, you know. My grandma would get mad at me. But I think my first 24 hours in Nashville, I drive in, get to my Airbnb, and the first thing in the morning, I meet with a publishing company. I meet with a record company. I get a private tour around a publishing company. And then I head to perform for the first time ever on Music Row with the NSAI. That was my first 24 hours in Nashville.
Nice. And tell me, how was that? Well, first of all, can you tell me a little bit about I know you did a song there. I did see that, and we do have a clip I'm going to play in just a second. But can you set up that clip a little bit about what all you guys were doing at the songwriting? Was it? I know you were in a costume. I don't know, what character did you go?
I went as Lightning McQueen. So it was a costume contest with the NSAI, which is the Nashville Songwriters Association.
Okay.
Songwriters in the round. And when you have a songwriters in the round, you'll have a line of songwriters, like sometimes 3, sometimes 5. And when they're lined up, each one will play one and it'll move to the next until it hits the first and it goes again. Or like for however many songs you're supposed to play. For this one, it was 1 song per person. And I played my song, Jesus, Tequila, and Whiskey, because if you're going to have a costume contest, you got to have a party song.
Now tell me about a lyric, if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. I want to go back a little bit. Because I feel like this all comes full circle with your father. And when I listen to your music, you're young enough, obviously, to be my daughter. And I try to put myself in your father's place when I hear you sing about some things that you sing, because you're 22. Listen, you're a beautiful young woman. I understand you're a full-on adult, but you're still going to always be daddy's little girl. And that's just how we look at them. Okay, that's just how it is. And, and if I sin for you, will you pray for me? And we're talking about some hanging up in some sheets. By the way, with a 500 count sheet, 700 count sheet, doesn't matter. Don't worry about it. Just a little joke. Don't worry about it. That's just a little joke. I shouldn't say that.
You're getting us all in trouble.
You know what I'm saying? But when you say things like that, that's just from a father's perspective. especially when he's walking in the front door. That's the first thing he's hearing. I got to imagine he probably went through a shock. Right? And I know your dad you told me about this. He was a little shocked about it. And the things he said, like, what are you talking about? You're planning to play all innocent. I'm starting to believe you're not innocent. I really am. I'm starting to not believe you're not. Because hold on. Because then we fast forward for a minute. We jump into Tequila and Jesus, and you're going to make her sing like a preacher's daughter. I'm thinking like, that's some powerful lyrics. Celeste, that is some powerful, powerful lyrics. I got to know, what did your father, I know what he thought about If I Sin For You. We know that already. We've had this conversation on the Whiskey Hour before. But what did he think about this song and those lyrics? What was his reaction then?
Well, I had the night before I wrote this song, I'd gone out with my friend to a honky tonk. I didn't drink there. It would have been fun if I did. We were actually drinking Red Bulls in the back and watching the bar scene, because there's no better place to people watch than a bar.
Well, that is true.
That's so true. And we were sitting back there and just watch, because we didn't go with anybody. Who were we going to dance with, kind of thing. And so we were sitting next to each other, just kind of watching people. Girl, I saw people fall in love. I saw people fall out of love. Some man was looking down his pants. I don't know what he was looking for, and it was like all these people were just being ridiculous. And I thought, this is kind of funny. And exactly what people say being at a bar is like. I need to write a song about this. And so I was kind of watching, and you see these girls and like they're like red in the face and having so much fun and dancing with people. And I'm like, girl, someone needs to write about these Montgomery bars. But when I played it, my dad was like, what'd you do last night? I was like, I didn't even, Dad, I didn't do anything. And the more you say that and the more I write things like that, the more I sound like a big old fat liar, but I'm not.
Hold that pause. We're going to listen to the song, and then we're going to continue this conversation about Jesus, tequila, whiskey, drinking holy water, and singing like a preacher's daughter. All of this we are going to cover and just find a little bit more about what was going through her mind while she's singing this song. Because I got to tell you, folks, I know she sounds innocent, but when you hear her sing the damn songs, it makes you think she's not so innocent, because she's very believable. Very believable. But here it comes, folks. Here it comes. So we'll talk about singing like a preacher's daughter. Amen, sister.
It only gets worse when you get to verse 2.
By the way, this is not out yet. She has recorded it in Nashville, which we'll get to that in just one second. But she has recorded it. So Jesus, tequila, and whiskey. Do we have a release date estimated for when people can actually purchase it?
We do not.
So if you go to CelesteMarieWilsonMusic.com, that's the website. I would imagine you can find it there. And when it comes out there, you should be able to go to iTunes and stand more for that update on that. But I promise you, I'm probably going to buy it, because this sounds like a pretty good song that I'd play in my car going down the street. Obviously not drinking whiskey on the street, but I'm going to play it in the car. So
you'll just think about Jesus on the street.
I think about Jesus all the time I get on the street, Celeste, and everybody I come in contact with on the freeways. I pray for them all the time. And
sometimes when I'm driving, I'm making people think about Jesus. They're like,
Are you a good driver, Celeste?
I can drive.
Tells us everything we need to know.
I can drive.
How often do you drive, Celeste? On average?
Very often.
You did
3 times a week.
2-3 times a week. Amen.
Oh, yeah. I get in the car with my mom. My mom's like, I'm driving. And I'm like, oh, come on. I'm a good driver. And she's like,
yeah. Because we all have different versions of what we consider to be good drivers.
I mean, I made a 100 on my driver's ed test, so perfect score.
I mean, I get it. Melanie made 100, I think, on her driver's test too. But still, when that girl makes a right-hand turn out of a parking lot, I promise you, we will go over a curb. We will go over a curb, and every time we go over a curb, I'm like, "And you got 100?
What are curbs for other than running over?
Oh, sister, I can tell you a lot of things that they're good. I can tell you what it does to the alignment because Melanie, her example is, Jay, it's a truck. We're good. And I say, you're right. It is a truck, but you know what? That truck still has an alignment, and that alignment still is subjected to being out of alignment.
I don't know what an alignment is. Out of sight, out of mind.
I know, right? I always say that. And unfortunately, when the tires get worn down, it does come in mind again. But that's another conversation for another day. But tell me more. Tell me more about this. Tell me about the Grand Ole Opry. Tell me what it was like. You going to the Grand Ole Opry and what that was like.
So the day of the Josie Awards, in the morning, I had a meeting with a music manager, and I got home. I showered so fast. That is a fact because I am a slow shower. I want to take 45 minutes. I want to have a little song in there. I don't know what we're on about this fast. So I showered real fast, did my hair, got in my little dress, which was actually, I got that dress freshman year of high school for my first homecoming.
Wow. That's a nice dress, by the way. That's very, very nice. And we'll see that dress here in a minute when we play the clip where she receives her award. But I thought it was very nice.
Yeah, it was a nice. It was only $8 at a thrift store.
What?
Yeah, it was $8. That's an $8 dress. Wore it like I stole it. I was like, this is my dress. I'm gonna use it for everything until it dies.
Man, I mean, I'm just saying, look. It's impressive because a lot of times you see these artists go to these awards and they're all $1 million from jewelry and this, that, and the other.
Why you're gonna throw it away? Wasteful. Get something cheap that can be reduced, reused, recycled. This is what thrift stores are for, everybody.
You know, it's very interesting though, because you don't hear a lot of people, Celeste, in your age group, that think that way. A lot of them are very, very into trendy and spending money. And the fact that you went and got an $8 dress and wore that to the Opry, it's incredible. I applaud it. It certainly didn't look like an $8 dress, but I applaud it.
That's what I'm saying. Like that. If you can find, because the thrift stores have nice clothes, if you can find something nice at a thrift store, like a jacket or a pair of boots, something that's like used that just someone either didn't fit into anymore or it wasn't their thing anymore, it's giving that piece of clothing new life. And it's got what's it called? A story with it then. Oh
man, boy, I tell you what, my eyesights are terrible these days. I gotta make that a little bit better. So Lemon Soda Fizzo says, I saw you at the FurCon. Our persona was a bunny, and you said you were gonna. What the hell? Oh, let me take that off the screen. See, oh wow, that is wow. You're going to take that off quick. Wow. See, this is why I need better. This is why Jay don't see too well. Jay don't see too well because, man, when I start reading some stuff like that, I'm like, what in the world? My bad, everybody.
The problems of being a girl.
Man, hey, listen. Yeah, this is why Logan usually does this show. And this is why Jay is not left to his own devices. I just merely talk to the artist. I don't do the production. Logan, we need you back ASAP. I apologize, Celeste and Misty and Mr. Wilson. I'm so sorry. What a time to be alive. But no, wow, that was interesting, Celeste. I did not see that coming. That was a carrot I did not see coming.
we're gonna have so much to talk about at our next dinner, Jay.
Boy, I tell you what, I have to do a lot of explaining to your daddy. Um, but no. So okay. So you're there at the war. By the way, did you run into Delta Circle while you were there?
Oh my gosh, I'm texting them. I'm down there, and they left before I could see them because they were across the way. And the Opry's so big. I was like,
it's huge. It is not small.
I could not find them. I was like, oh my gosh, Ernest, where are you? Where's my best friend?
Yeah, because I was curious if you got to see Nick and Ernest. By the way, if you don't know who they are, that's Delta Circle. Check them out as well. They're out of the Savannah area. Really good group as well.
Delta Circle and I are best friends. I'm an honorary member, in case you don't know.
I would be. Hey, I tell you, I just watched Korn today do MTV Unplugged, and they brought in on the Unplugged version, they brought in that girl from what's that girl? Amy Lee. They brought in Amy Lee from Effervescence to sing a song with them, and that was a really good duo. So I can see you doing some duo work there. Now you do other things. I mean, you have the Wallflower Band, right? That you're a member of. Right. So you do a lot of other projects outside of just your own recording stuff.
I do. But if Delta Circle ever is in Houston, he's a keyboardist.
Yeah.
I can play keyboard. I can do those girl harmonies, whatever y'all need.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing. What the Opry? I mean, when you were there at the Opry, I mean, what was the feeling? Because that's an iconic place. I mean, all the greats have been in there. I gotta imagine the energy that you must have been feeling and the adrenaline of being in a place like that. I gotta imagine that's crazy.
I'm gonna be so real. I got too nervous, and the bar called my name. And so when I was up on that stage and I was talking, I was not nervous at all anymore until I got into that little circle. They have a little circle of the original Opry. And when I stepped in that circle, I couldn't, because usually when I'm on stage, I will look at someone who like kind of brings me comfort. Like if you see me and I'm looking at my mom, or I'm looking, like if Jay's there, Melanie's there, I might look at them. Because it's like calming to like be able to see a familiar face. But I looked out, and for the first time in my life, I didn't recognize anybody. I couldn't find my mom in the crowd. It was just like this sea of dark heads because the light is right in your face. And there's a wall of sound, like an actual wall of sound. And my speech was short and sweet because it was like, what is going on? It was an out of body experience there for a second. I was like, whoa, because like people will describe it to you, but you don't understand until you're right there and it happens. Like there's no actual, I don't think there's really a verbal way to make it make sense.
Right. And I don't know if I could. I mean, I'm just trying to imagine. There are two places in this world that I think would be just incredible. And the emotions, if I was an artist and getting up on those types of stages, that would be so, number one, iconic, but also very pressure filled. I think until I got my stuff out there and got really kind of into the flow and the comfortable of it. But the two biggest places, one is where you were, the Grand Ole Opry, and then the other one is the Apollo. Those are just two places that have so much history in them that it's really, and then of course, if you ever get to record on the Sound City studio board, which I think now is in 666 Studios over there, Dave Grohl. But if you ever got that Sound City board with that old school recording, I think those are the three biggest iconic moments. If I was an artist that I would experience. And it's good that you've already had one of those experiences already. And you're so young. At 22, you've already had that experience. That's crazy. And it's not like these are, I mean, you've had accolades like this before. You've already had your poetry published and things like this in big time areas. So I think for you, I mean, what can you not do, Celeste? Like I said, I've enjoyed so far being on this journey with you.
You don't want to taste my cooking. I can't cook.
No, I'm not gonna have your cooking, but no, I'll take your word. But I will have some more of your father's brisket. That brisket was off the chain. I was talking about the other day. I said how much I enjoyed your father's brisket, and I do plan to return the favor and have you guys come over, and I'm going to make the food for you. Me and Mel are, and you will be in for a treat. I promise you.
I'm gonna leave stuffed and puffed. I'm gonna be so full.
I promise you, when you come to my house, I recommend that you don't eat all day, because when you come to that, it's going to be so much food there that you're going to want to taste a lot of things. So it's going to be a good time.
Wear baggy pants or a dress, because I'm going to be really full.
I would recommend a dress. That way you don't have to, undo the front button to let the gut out. Nobody wants that. But, you'll wear a dress. You'll be nice. You'll be comfortable. No problem.
I'll be like full and comfortable. And yep.
I want to go back real quick to the song that you did at the Songwriters, and Jesus, Tequila, and Whiskey. And I kind of glossed over that, and I wanted to kind of go back because I didn't want to miss over that. So this song was produced by Jim Riley. Sheryl Crow also was produced by Jim Riley, and so you got to be able to see that. And if you go on to Celeste Marie Wilson Facebook page, you can see a picture of that studio that she was in when she recorded this song. What was it like recording with somebody that did Sheryl Crow versus the other recording or the other producers that you've worked with in the past?
So Jim Riley is super cool, super nice. And so normally, like, I've dealt with a lot of producers that are super kind of like hands-on, like super up there, super like, you need to do this, telling you how it goes. Jim Riley, so he just would like sit there and his eyes would be closed like this. I thought he was asleep. His eyes would be closed. And I'd think, oh, he's not paying attention. I'd do what I was doing. And then he'd go, that's wrong. And then his eyes would close again. Do that again. Just do it again. And that, I mean, it was so like just calm. He was calm about everything. And then finally we get to the end, and I'm like trying to figure out what we need to add next, what we're doing next. I think he's asleep again. I finished singing a thing and I'm getting ready to do it again. He goes, I think we're done. It was just so it was so like flat. It was kind of funny. I was like, oh, I guess we're done then.
Yeah, I gotta imagine, we have 5 senses, right? And I think a lot of time those senses can get in front of other senses. So, because I do that a lot too. When I listen to music, a lot of times I'll close my eyes, and because I feel like I hear it different than I am when I'm watching it or seeing it or whatever. It just, it allows you to really focus in on the sound itself. And then you can kind of, so I can understand why he does that. And that's interesting, because that is kind of an interesting thing that, if you have never worked with somebody before, you see them doing those kinds of things, that could really be off-putting or really kind of throw you for a loop when you're saying, because you don't know what it was like.
It was just like, it was like when you're a pro enough at something that you don't need to say a bunch, you don't need to do a bunch, you only need to say something when you need to say something. And it was like that level of professionalism where he just like unless I don't even know how to explain it. It was just super, super calm about everything. I was nervous. I was like over there, like, I'm flop sweating. Oh my gosh, I hope I'm doing a good job, guys.
And that's it though. I think the different producers, they have different ways of doing things. And the more you get exposed to different types of producers, the more you're going to get better, even as an artist, or get better at, because I'm sure every producer looks for different things. I'm sure, the one when you worked with Cold Keep Productions versus Jim Riley, I'm sure they had different ways of doing it.
No, yeah, everybody does.
Right.
Totally, everybody does. Everybody has their own way of getting, like, it's like communicating because when you're making anything in the arts, you're starting with nothing.
Right.
Like literally you're creating something out of thin air, basically. It's like a magic trick. And so learning how to communicate that kind of bottled up magic of creativity is hard. And some people, it's like over explaining so then they can reel back. And then some people, they're just like, they already know how it's going to happen and have the finished product in their head, and they're just watching it come there.
Right. Now, I want to fast forward for a second to back to the video award for it's a songwriter. I'm not sure I get that. Story Enhanced Music Video of the Year. Female is what you won the award for If I Sin for You. Now, I obviously I know the story and I know a lot of people know the story, but for those that are watching the show now that doesn't know anything about the song, can you tell me a little bit about the story of it as well, so people can have an idea when they watch the video what it is you were trying to convey in that story?
Absolutely. So If I Sin for You actually started off as another song titled Seeds of Love. And when I wrote Seeds of Love, it was based off of Hades and Persephone. And I was trying to talk about kind of that romance where how sometimes girls, you know, we kind of sacrifice a lot when we're in relationships. I mean, all relationships are a give and take. You know, that's just how it is. But for a girl, there's some extra stuff that we do have to think about. And I didn't like that song. So I sat down and tried to rewrite it. And I was reading a book and I kind of like took some ideas and themes from that book and weaved them in. And the song is really about being in a relationship where you are giving more than you are getting. And that feeling of when you love somebody so deeply, you know, and you're so attached and so in love and they like you, but is it you that they like? Is it really you that they like? Like, if I sin for you, if I were to sacrifice my own morals, would you even pray for me? Would you even think about me? Is that really a concern of yours? And so that's what the song's about. And when we did the music video, the first thing I said was, it has to be PG-13. I have a lot of like young girls that follow me, so everything I do is PG-13. I also hate the idea of kissing someone I don't know. And so the wall is like a metaphor of, you know, kind of things, the relationship and being, you know, between the two. And, you know, it's like you can't get to this person that you love because of a wall they built up or whatever's going on. And anyway, we break through it at the end and then embrace each other, and we're so in love, like a romance book.
Nice. And I think when you watch the video, you'll see that. Now I want you to tell everybody, because this is very interesting. You know, a lot of times when you talk to actors, and they do those types of scenes, right? The kissing, whatever, and the romantic scenes. You know, it takes a lot to really make those scenes believable when you're kissing somebody and you don't have a romantic connection, but you have to make it look like you have a romantic connection. So that way it's authentic or it's believable, right? And I know you kind of struggled a little bit with that. With the male that was playing the male lead. Can you tell us a little bit about that connection and how you try? And by the way, it is a believable connection, but how did you deal with that to make it believable?
Right. So it is super weird because you meet someone and then 20 minutes later you gotta be hugging, and that obviously is just an odd scenario. Kuvi, the male actor, super professional. Great actor, sweet guy, so put together, a friend, so on and so forth. The quickest way is to get the awkward question out of the way. You know, like, don't beat around the bush. Like, hey, we're going to have to hug each other and pretend we're in love. What are you okay with? What are you not okay with? Like, keep it super above board and professional. You know, how was your day? Where are you from? Like a little chit chat. Then talk about the elephant in the room. And then when it happens, it makes it a lot easier, right? You know, because then it's like, there's nothing weird. Then we've already had our chit chat about it. I already know how your day's going, what your next gig is, kind of thing. And then like keep in contact and be buddies.
Right. Because I think to be believable, you have to have established something.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you are just so good at turning something off believable, which for me, that would be hard. Well, I don't know. Sometimes I can do it.
It's not too
what it is.
because you just got to think like put yourself in the shoes of what's going on. You know, it's like you have this friend, you have this person you're playing across, and then just like when you were a little kid and playing house on the playground,
right?
You know, that's kind of the mentality I take into it. I'm like, I'm playing make pretend.
Or almost like if you have a crush on a celebrity or something, you think like, what it'd be like to kiss this person or whatever. Almost if you can superimpose their face on it to where, you kind of put your mind in a different perspective. I can see maybe even something like that working. But I still think it's a hard thing to do when you don't know somebody. I mean, first time, and then you have to do a video and make it believable.
Yeah, and then some of it is just mapping things out in your head. Because what we see as believable is how a human body moves. So if you know, on this beat, I'm going to move my hand here. And then on this beat, I'm going to move my hand here. Because if I wait a certain amount of time, it's going to look very believable and take kind of a mathematical approach to it. Right. That is a really easy way to make it look believable. Because, if you kind of look at how people move around you, you can start catching on to those things.
Absolutely. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me load the video. Let me see here. Bam. My computer has not always been kind to me today. So we're hopefully.
My computer and I are always fighting.
Yeah, I think that's there we go. Okay, here I'm gonna show the video, and then after we do the video, I'm gonna roll from the video right into the awards, and then we'll have a conversation about that, and then we'll go from there. So here is the video that she was nominated and won for, If I Sin for You. Oops.
He smelled like the Christmas and apples from the tree. He prayed beside me, on his knees round my feet. Oh, he was and I may be if it's to sin, babe, if you wish to be free. Oh. If I've been before you, you was but eyes, raven hair, tonight. Get me up, so help me down, so night, so night. Like a bird, rock the same time.
Mm. Yeah, I'll tell you, that's amazing. Now we're gonna roll. Let's go ahead and roll into the awards, and then we'll have a conversation about that. Let me pull that up real quick. Yeah, there we go.
Good evening, y'all. It's a great night to be in a room with so many creative and talented artists. I'd like to thank Cold Creek Productions from Houston, Texas. I'd like to thank my mama. She does everything for me, and she's my best friend. I'd like to thank my uncle, Uncle Ryan. Everybody, I'm Brenda.
Wow, I mean, just amazing. Again, great dress. I love the speech. Obviously, your mother is your best friend. I've had the pleasure of hanging out with the both of you guys, and you guys are like sometimes Celeste. I feel like you guys are sisters. Sometimes that's how the way y'all interact with each other.
We know too much about each other.
I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing to know too much about your parents. God knows I wouldn't want my kids to know too much about me, but. Your mom's a little more innocent than a young Jay McLovin was back in those days.
Yeah, I think so. I've heard some of your stories. I think so. I think you're right.
Oh man, yeah. It was. My parents had it very challenging. I had great parents. I have, but they're still alive. I have great parents. I really do, man. And my poor father, he used to have a good set of hair, but Jay, as a young Jay, I think he wore that hair out because I know he pulled a little bit of it out anyway. But just amazing. I'm watching your career as when I first met you at Springboard here in Texas or here in Houston area to where you are now. I mean, it's just you guys are pouring gasoline upon gasoline upon gasoline, and
only way.
You're doing great things.
Yeah. I'm sprinting. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm running as fast as I can.
Yeah. And it's good to sprint as long as you have a good direction of where you're trying to go, what you do. Like I told you earlier, I put that little sticker comment on one of your posts. I said, you have your goals, I think very well lined out, and you're making the right connections with the right people. And that's a big thing. For you. And obviously it's a very good credit to your mother as your manager. I think putting you in the right spots to do things, Let me ask you this. Let me ask you a question. Going back to when you did the dive bar, and it was obviously not either one of mine or your elements, and the crowd was a different kind of element. The musical taste of that crowd was a different type of element. And then, of course, you decided to write a song over a bridge and then play it for the first time ever, which I said, and I've said this many, many a times. I even said this this morning on the Coast to Coast show that I did with Philly Sports Guy and Bo on Roku. And I said, this woman is up and coming. She's going to get big. She's going to blow up. And I really do feel that way about it. And I said, you got balls. You got a lot of balls to go to a venue where it's not your demographic at all. And you go in there with a song that you've never done anything with, that you just wrote within the last 10 minutes of, and you won over that crowd. And they were doing that sort of a thing. They liked what they were hearing from you. That says a lot. And I want to know, what did you take away from that experience? Because I feel like everything's an experience in your journey, right? And I feel like if you had the confidence to write a song that you've never played before and then go against a crowd that's not your typical crowd that would, that would typically gravitate that direction, but yet you overcame all of that. What did that moment mean for you as an artist?
Well, first it started this thing that I like to do live that I call the game, where I will play whatever song I had written that week, which I even did at my CDX show on Music Row on Monday. I performed a song that I had just written a few days prior, which is an awesome exercise, and people love it because it's like the first time the song's out. Nobody's heard it before. So I do, most of my shows, I do the game. So that's the first thing. It made me feel a little bit more confident in how I write, the way I write, and the fact that, music is not a thing that can really be categorized. We try to find ways to categorize it. And it's true that not everything's my scene. Especially, if we don't have comfortable seats, count me out. I want a nice place to sit down. But it kind of showed me that we can put labels on it. Country, pop, I don't know what I am. Alt is the category they typically put me in. Alternative rock. Whatever you want to put it in. But at the end of the day, it's about human connection.
Right.
And there's no category for that. And so I think you can walk into just about anywhere. Because I played at punk shows before. Not a punk rocker, but the punkers, they're nice. There's nothing wrong with them. Yeah. And some of my songs connect with them, and some of their songs do connect with me. And, I played at country shows. I played at that odd dive bar rock show that definitely was not my scene. I've played at R&B things. I've played at like pop things, anything. If I got a guitar and a microphone, you can count me in.
Yeah. And I've seen you operate just like that.
Yeah. It's like, because like my attitude is, I'm not going to waste an opportunity. If y'all invite me out, I'm coming. Unless I'm sick. Even then I still might come. But I'm going to be snotty, so.
That's okay. We always got plenty of Kleenex. No worries. No worries. And then sometimes the shirt is not a bad alternative sometimes. So going back to the Songwriters Association, I want to go back there. There was one question I did want to ask you. When you were at the Songwriters and you did your song and then you heard all the other artists do their songs, was there any particular artist there that you really dug more than the others? And I don't. If I'm putting you on the spot, it's okay. Let me know. But was there anybody that you particularly dug more than everything else?
Yes. So almost everybody sang sad songs, and I love a sad song. But when I'm having a costume party, I want a happy song. But the girl sitting right next to me, she played right after me a drinking song. She's like, I gotta, she just played one. I gotta play one now. And it was good. I liked it. I was digging it. I was like, okay, all right. She's from up north. So it was like because like we have very different sayings in the South. And so it was interesting to hear all of my stuff is very rooted in Southern culture and the way we speak. If I send for you, will you pray for me? Sounds like something you'd hear coming out of the South. You probably aren't going to hear that coming up north. But she was saying, like, we were both singing drinking songs. And the way I put it was Jesus, tequila, and whiskey. And then the way she put it was like counting the shots. And it was so cool to see those like cultures put right next to each other. It was like really, really neat. I was getting into it the whole time. I was like, okay. Because it was the same thing.
Right?
It was just different. It was the different phrasings, the different ways you write based off of where you're from.
Right.
It was cool.
So now, since we're on the subject of, obviously you did this down on Music Row, you said, correct? Yeah. So tell me, this is your first time to Nashville, and I know you said this is the first time. I'm assuming you got a little intoxicated. What was that? What was first of all, what was Music Row like for you to experience? And secondly, how did you handle the intoxication? Do you remember? After you tell me about that, tell me how much that you don't remember of Music Row, because I will tell you, Jay has two levels of intoxication. There's one where you're a little slippery drunk, but you still remember everything and everything's fine, no problem. And then there's the other one where, damn, I don't remember a damn thing. I'm alive. I'm in my bed.
I remembered everything. And I
Okay.
was convinced I wasn't that drunk. I woke up in the morning, didn't feel hungover. I guess because I was still drunk. I hit 10. My head hurt so bad. I was like, oh my gosh. I was so bad. I thought I was in the office of the legendary Harlan Howard.
Yeah.
Talking to his publishers. And I kid you not, my vision's blurry. I'm looking around, I'm like, oh my God. Oh my gosh, I feel terrible. What's going on? I'm having an out-of-body experience. The only thing that was clear was his photo on the wall. And I was like, he's talking to me right now.
All right, young lady. I'm going to give you your first drinking lesson 101 that will help you avoid that the rest of your natural life. As long as you do what I tell you,
Okay.
you won't ever have to worry about that hangover feeling ever again. You ready for it?
I'm ready for it.
Now, there's pre and there's post preparation before you start drinking. The pre-preparation is you always eat some sort of bread product
I didn't
prior
eat
to
anything
drinking.
before I drank. I hadn't eaten since breakfast.
I know that's it's okay. You're a novice. It's your first time.
I'm a novice. I didn't know.
It's okay. It's okay. Hey, first time, no big deal. It's all good. You're alive. Everything's great. But always, if you ever plan to go out and have a night of drinking, whether you plan to get tore up or not, you just follow that same basic concept because you don't know what you're planning on doing until you get out there and do it. Now, always have a designated driver or an Uber or whatever. That's primary. But again, always have some sort of bread product in your stomach before you ever consume liquor. And the reason why is the bread will absorb the alcohol and not your system. That's number one.
Oh, my system.
Oh, trust me. I know, girlfriend. It went straight to your blood.
Oh, it did. I didn't have anything in my tummy. I was like, uh-oh.
All right. So we talked about the pre. And by the way, I'll text this to you because I want you to remember this because it really will take care of you. If you eat bread before you drink, you're good. Okay. Second rule. And I will text this to you. Beer before liquor, never sicker. Liquor before beer, in the clear. Okay? Okay? That's rule number 2. And then rule number 3, which is a very important rule, because we all know when you drink alcohol, it dehydrates your body. So what do you got to do? Before you go to bed, you take a glass of 8 ounces of water or more and 2 Advil. If you follow the pre, during, and post ritual, you will not have a problem. I don't care how much you drink. I mean, granted, if you drink an entire fifth of liquor, you may still have an issue because I don't think the bread is going to absorb an entire liquor, but the concept is still the same. If you do that, you're going to be just fine. No problem, Celeste.
I didn't do any of that. I didn't drink water until like 12 the next day. I did not. Oh, I was not in the clear. I didn't drink any water until lunch, and I was like,
yeah.
I look like.
And do you see an idea behind that is, number one, bread absorbs, so you're already absorbing the liquor that you put in, and number 2, liquor and beer, they don't mix, so one sits on top of the other, so you want the beer underneath on the liquor on the top. And then number 3, the water puts the hydration back in your system, so you're not waking up dehydrated. And then number 4, the Advil will take care of any headache that may have been imposed. So that's the scientifics behind that approach. And I will text this to you because I always like people to wake up better than what they did.
Yeah, and obviously I needed a little help. I need a little education.
Well, now,
I didn't know.
But now you know. See, all right, you had your first experience. Now you know. Now you got the game plan. I'll tell you. I want you to have this, and you print it out, put it in your little wallet, and be, show me a drink tonight. Let me pull out Jay's little saying.
Yeah.
All right, check.
I'm gonna memorize it. Write a song to it, so I got it stuck in my head.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. So okay, so you're down there. You're in Music Row. And I've been to Nashville several times when I was stationed out at Fort Campbell over there in Kentucky. So I went to Nashville. We used to go to Nashville all the time. So I'm very familiar with Music Row. Matter of fact, Dave Grohl actually performed. I forget the name of the bar, but he actually performed in one of the bars there on Music Row when he went to the Grand Ole Opry for the Grand Ole Opries. So, I mean, it's a very legendary street. Everybody knows it. It's almost as legendary as Beale Street is in Memphis. That's the second, probably most famous street in Tennessee. So you got Beale Street and you got Music Row in Nashville. Those are the two big ones. But what did you think of Nashville? I mean, that's just such if you're an artist, that's like your heaven. That's your heaven of music, right?
It was like, so I wrote on Music Row with other writers. And I wrote with a lot of like dream writers. I met Brian Mayer. He wrote for Taylor Swift on her first album. And that was like a dream writing session. I was so excited. We got 2 songs out of the way, like in 30, 40 minutes. We wrote 2 songs. It was like I was really, really honored to be able to write with so many like heavy hitters in the industry. Like I've written with a lot of people. I mean, you know, and I've written with a lot of other Texas artists and a lot of indie artists, and they're amazing. And they are so, so talented. But it's like watching the real pros move and how they work was not only very motivating, but it was very reassuring to have these true industry veterans, you know, talk to me and guide me as a writer, as a person, and as an artist.
What was we're talking Brian Mayer? What was something about the way he writes that you would incorporate in the way you write?
This is actually going to be so funny. I sit down, I'm expecting him to not write like me, you know?
Right.
Because a lot of the pros write different. Like everybody has their own style. Brian Mayer and I were finishing each other's sentences on the couch. We wrote very, very similarly. It was like very peas and carrots kind of thing. It just was like there was a little bit of a difference in the way his stanchion worked and getting those triple turnovers tighter. But it was like I was really surprised. I was like, dang, I have not met another writer that writes that close to how I write.
That had to be a huge confidence booster to your belief in your writing when you're looking at these guys that are pros that have written for like Taylor Swift and you know guys that are producing like Cher, and you're hanging out with these guys and you're learning from these guys. But it had to be a huge confidence booster as a writer when you're seeing somebody who's written for these artists and you're right there with them. I mean, that had to be a huge confidence boost to you as a writer and what you're putting down.
It absolutely was. It was a huge confidence booster. It was like I came home with stuff I needed to work on, stuff I was good at that I didn't think I was good at. It was just like a huge like kind of perspective shift.
That is amazing. So I know you just got in last night, so I'm not gonna. I know you need to get to bed, so I don't want to kill too much of your thing. I just want to know, you have a guitar, I know they're with you. You don't need to play the whole song, but can you play a snippet of something that maybe you haven't released or haven't done anything? It doesn't have to be the whole song, just anything that just comes to mind.
How about I play the song that I played at the CDX show? It's a funny song. I don't write a lot of funny songs, but I also don't write a lot of slow songs. And I figured if I wrote a slow song, it might as well be funny.
Absolutely.
Let me scoot back. Let me know if you can hear me all right.
Oh, I got you. Perfect.
This song is called Mary Sue. And for anybody who's ever had one of those church ladies talk bad about them, I hope y'all enjoy it. Am I allowed to curse a little?
Hell yeah. So whiskey hour. What the hell else are we going to do?
I don't know. Every single Sunday, you'd think it'd be the one day the people in town don't gossip around, but that's reserved for Monday. You won't see me in the back of that pew. I didn't sin enough to be there with you. I didn't. I've got a prayer for you that would turn the gray skies blue. Let's gossip, talk more, walk the walk. Let's pray for Mary Sue. Once in a blue moon, I think I ought to go to that little church house with the choir so loud, and that's where I see you. I talked to Jesus and he said I'm not that bad. We both wonder why your son don't look like his dad at all. I've got a prayer for you that would turn the gray skies blue. Let's gossip, talk more, walk the walk. Let's pray for Mary Sue. You're too old to throw a stone from your house of glass. I turn the other cheek while you're kissing my eyes. You missed a spot. I've got a prayer for you that would turn the gray skies blue. Let's gossip, talk more, walk the walk. Let's pray for Mary Sue.
Can't think of a better way to bring a show to a close than that song right there, Celeste. That was good. I liked it. That kind of made me laugh. That definitely brought some laughter in my life. So I appreciate
love laughing. If it's gonna be,
I love it.
Giggle.
I love it. All right, folks. Again, catch Celeste every Wednesday unless life happens right here in the Whiskey Hour with your boy Jay McLovin. I always enjoy my conversations with Celeste. She's an amazing human being, and somebody I cherish very much. And you tell that mother of yours that I said hello, okay?
I will.
And I will figure out the time that we're going to have dinner at the house, and you will not be disappointed.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. It's another edition of the Whiskey Hour with me and Celeste, and we'll be back to you next Wednesday at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. And you guys have a good rest of your afternoon. It's your boy Jay saying bye. Bye, everybody.